And all right, we are live. Hey guys.
We're live?
Yes.
Are we live?
Yeah, live.
Hello?
Hey guys,
Hello?
This is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek. We are having a little bit of a different thing, obviously with social distancing being a thing that exists right now. We can't exactly do our live shows as we normally would, and in fact you probably noticed it's been a minute since we came to you with the whole, hey, we're gonna do monthly live streams thing. And well, surprise, things changed up a little bit.
Yeah, what with the craziness of the world and everything like that right now.
Yeah.
We took a little bit of break there, but we got together, well not got together, but we called each other Thursday of last week and kind of talked and thought it was time to come back, so hey.
Yeah, so generally what we have going on right now is we decided that since we don't really have conventions to be able to talk about because they're all canceled, we don't really have a lot of movies to talk about because most of them got pushed back, and a lot of the entertainment news that we would normally be discussing has all kind of changed. We would do something a little bit different, and rather than wait until the end of each month, we're going to start coming to you right now, tentatively 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around lunchtime, to be able to give you a nice 20 to 30 minute show to be able to discuss whatever the heck we're wanting to talk about that day, and kind of have some fun with it. So
yeah, a little less structure than our normal show, which didn't really have much structure to begin with, now that I think about it, but you know,
yeah,
it's really weird because normally you're supposed to be right here.
Yeah, and I'm having to be able to see you and kind of look over at the monitor that I have, like, over here, which you're normally here, well, you're really here for me, but it's all a thing, so, yay.
It's weird. It is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try to at least bring some normalcy to our world, at least.
Yeah. So, generally, what we got is, Mike, I believe you had a little adult drink going on with you right now for the live stream.
I do have an adult drink. How did you know, Brad? It's almost like we planned this ahead of time.
I mean, you can't really say we plan a lot, but this, sure.
Yeah.
And I am, you know, the caffeine addict I am. I have to survive the day.
Right. Can we not shamelessly plug this?
We'll actually be talking about that later this week. Because, you know, we got to.
So, I just wanted to say the name as many times as possible, thinking that maybe they'll send us
go for
stuff. So, this was the Pure line, correct?
Yes. Yeah, Evil's on its way here.
So, do you want me to talk about it? Like, give you a quick snippet?
We'll leave it at that. Let people try to figure it out. Yeah.
It is comic book related.
Oh yeah.
It's a certain TV show from our youth, comic book related.
Oh yeah.
And we'll leave it at that. Kyla, do you want? Wait, what was the name of this episode again, Brad?
Surprise. We're back, or guess who's back just in time for the apocalypse?
Ah, yes. So Kyla, you got your drink. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Do we wanna cheers?
Are you wanting to come over there and cheers?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Cheers to social distancing as she comes within 6 feet of me.
I mean, you. No.
Yeah. He doesn't have a 5-second delay, so watch what you say.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on that. I'm actually working on that. Hey, Shane.
Ooh,
how you doing?
Damn, that is good.
I saw you just popped up over on our Facebook comments. Surviving?
Hopefully everybody is.
Which actually, speaking of, just really quickly, because we're already going over time on our intro. Yeah, so the whole reason why we're doing this is because we know that with everybody kind of stuck at home right now, whether you are having to work from home or you're just at home because your work has temporarily-ish closed down. Everybody's kind of in a weird place, and so we figured while we've been trying to get past some behind-the-scenes bumps in the road for plans that we had, then didn't have, then had, then are kind of delayed like everything else right now, we thought we'd go ahead and contribute to everybody having a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a platform, we have some fun stuff to talk about, hopefully, and we thought, why not? So, yeah. We'll see how this works.
Yeah, like Brad was saying, I've had a couple of people reach out to me, and we're like, hey, so you guys haven't put out any content recently. You guys okay? Everything? And we're like, yeah, honestly, we didn't know if it was the right time to put out content. We kind of talked about it, and we thought if we can bring some sense of normalcy into everybody's lives and give everybody something to at least kind of take their mind off of what's going on in the world, then we kind of should. So here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you working for a company that shall not be named, but you guys can take your guess based on past context clues.
That's been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah, not always for the best reasons. Well, rarely for the best reasons. But once again, you can guess. And my job, which I actually can't talk about on camera for reasons, legal reasons.
National security reasons?
Sure, we'll call it that. It's definitely certain legal reasons. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I've actually somehow just gotten inundated with stuff to do, mostly phone calls that have appeared out of nowhere. And so, trying to keep up and make time for editing and, other things have kind of become interesting. But they are coming, I swear. New episodes from things from last year are coming, I promise. In fact, I plan to have the first edited video back out and ready to go next week.
A way to stay current with that, Red.
I mean, man. But anyway.
All right. Well, I think we've spent enough time on the intro. What do you say we do?
Indeed. So, gonna go ahead and turn on the timer so that we can actually try to stay somewhat honest about how long we're taking on this. And first things first, the elephant in the room, conventions. So, if you've been keeping up with conventions local here in Dallas and pretty much everywhere else, you've noticed that there aren't really any conventions going on right now, and may not actually be any conventions this year, depending on how this goes. So, Mike, what are your thoughts?
How what goes, Brad?
The thing that we are not allowed to talk about because, YouTube and Facebook will spank us, and we don't want that. You don't
it's weird.
You don't make Google mad.
It almost sounds like yeah, it's almost like they're trying to censor. That's so weird. So like Brad said, the elephant in the room with the current state of the world. Locally, Fan Expo was delayed until, I believe, the middle of June, if I remember right. But the longer that this goes on, I think the closer that we kind of get to the real world possibility that may not happen, which is a shame. And in fact, if I remember right, you can correct me on this, Brad, was it Anime Fest or A-Kon that announced that they're not even doing this year's convention?
That would be A-Kon. So yeah, A-Kon held out for a minute. They did try, honestly, but when they made their announcement, they just went ahead and pushed it to next year.
Yeah.
Whereas currently, Fan Expo Dallas is still tentatively pushing for this June, but more than likely that's going to get rescheduled again as well, just because everything else is. So, yeah.
Yeah, she just looked it up. It's tentatively rescheduled for the 19th through the 21st of June. But, I mean, look, realistically, it kind of sucks to say this, but I don't necessarily know if life for the convention goers and life for convention attendees and life for people that regularly attend conventions is going to go back to normal this year, which sucks. It really does. I mean, Emerald City was canceled.
Yep.
New York Toy Fair was canceled. I mean, they still made their announcements about the exclusive collectibles and everything, but they didn't have anybody there.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I think we have to come to the realization that San Diego's supposed to be in July, and
well, I mean, they've already San Diego's already said that they are still hopeful, and they're, for right now, waiting till the last minute to make their decision about canceling or not, which I totally understand considering how massive it is, how much money's already been invested in it, and how much money that means for the city overall. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's even a chance that they could pull in a quarter of the attendance of normal, that's still going to be worthwhile. I get it. But, I mean, realistically, I don't see a convention of any size really working out until at least fall, and even then, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, really. And you're right, it does suck. But, I mean,
it does.
A convention, as much fun as they are, and I know that that is the livelihood of a lot of people that we know, and it's still... it's not worth the risk for a lot of reasons until you know it's going to be okay.
Yeah, agreed. I think that this is one of those you have to be better safe than sorry. Like, you have to be.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, even E3 canceled, and E3's big thing that just came out was that they decided that they aren't even doing the online-only piece that they had initially thought they could do. They've just canceled outright. So,
yep.
I mean...
which there's people that, you know, we're going to talk a little bit more about video games later on, but I mean, there's people that are speculating that E3 could be a thing of the past.
Yeah, and I mean this
because of what's happening there.
I know a lot of media outlets are looking at this with E3, saying that, I mean, E3 as its specific convention already feels like it's a bit on the way out the door. So this could be much more devastating for them than a lot of other conventions, but I guess only time's going to tell on that one. So.
Right. Well, a lot of people have said for a while that E3 has been more for shareholders and stockholders than actual fans. It's not like a PAX East or a PAX West or some of those other shows where they actually, you know, the convention aspect of it is actually a big deal and it's not just announcements.
Yep.
But yeah, this is, I mean, very realistically, we could be seeing a very big changing of the status quo, I guess would be the way to say it moving forward. But
yeah,
you know, we're just gonna have to wait and see. So
absolutely. And then jumping over to movies. So yeah, I know movies have we've seen major premieres delayed, indefinitely canceled, which is just one way of saying they don't know when they're gonna be able to have a premiere for it, if they're actually going to be able to do a proper premiere, and then others that just skipped the premiere entirely and went straight to streaming, so that at least they had a platform they could get the movie out on. I mean, Disney has been a big proponent of that last method, even though they were some of the first ones doing their indefinite cancellations for some of their big premieres.
Yeah. Frozen 2 hit Disney Plus, I think probably about 2 or 3 months faster than everybody thought it would.
Yeah.
Onward got their theatrical release, and it's funny, me and Kyla actually we saw Onward in theaters. We saw it at Alamo Drafthouse. And then I think it was about a month later, they were like, hey, so we're pulling it from theaters. It's going live on digital to purchase in 2 weeks, and then a week after that, it's going to hit Disney Plus.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I know Amazon right now has a deal going with several of the studios to be able to actually have theatrical rentals going on Amazon Prime to be able to have some sort of revenue coming in compared to, say, what Disney Plus does, where if it's released on Disney Plus, there's no additional revenue other than just what it would be getting naturally from the streaming service, which actually on that streaming service, what was it, in the since all this started, Disney Plus has had, additional 50 million subscribers that have jumped on. I mean, that's not a terrible number right there for them.
Yeah, it was some stupid number where you're just like, wow. And I mean, speaking of streaming services, like we're already seeing with people being home, like subscriptions to streaming services have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of industry experts that kind of wonder what this is going to do, I guess, for like normal TV and the normal movie going experience moving forward.
Well, I mean, a little bit onto the business side of it that we'll touch on here in a second, but I mean, I'm honestly interested to see if the increase in streaming services usage right now has any lasting effect on the business of internet service providers overall. Because I mean, right now, American internet service providers have been some of the slowest in the Western world and some of the most expensive, and yet we are now seeing, with such a heavy reliance on needing high-speed internet for a much larger audience than would normally be using it, I'm kind of interested to see if that in any way affects the amount of access to high-speed internet, or the price for high-speed internet, or even the top speeds for high-speed internet. Because I mean, I know here in Dallas, Frontier finally jumped up to offering a 1 gigabit a second fiber optic service like a month ago, where some other places had, like other countries have had that for years, and I'd be very interested to see if that becomes more of a normal thing with a higher new demand. I mean, I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think with, well, we've already seen some services talk about how they had to, well, like YouTube, I think it was YouTube if I remember right, for example, said that they were going to only stream stuff in standard definition for the entire month of April.
Yeah. Because
their usage was so high. Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus have seen, I don't want to say throttles, but they've seen, usage problems. Call of Duty, I mean, let's Warzone launched literally a month as this was going in, and Activision reported that it's like the most played battle royale on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Less than a month in, and that their user rate is still going up. But with that, they talked about, because they're using their own dedicated servers for it, is that they're even having issues supporting the game while it's going on right now.
Yeah.
Like it's it's very interesting, like you said, to see what's going to happen with internet providers, if it'll be more readily available at higher speeds, if prices go down. I mean, this could be something that changes the entire industry moving forward.
Yeah.
In terms of like, hey, maybe companies will kind of be called on some of the things that they've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
Like throttling speeds, like especially like cell phone providers, they're notorious for throttling data usage and everything like that as you get closer to like the end of the month and stuff like that. Like, it's very possible that maybe some stuff comes out of this where it's like, all right, we need to go ahead and sit here and re-examine what's going on.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But jumping over to the next big thing, general industry updates from all this, which there have been quite a few. We obviously cannot touch on everything, but we will try to hit the highlights. So, obviously for what we've already been talking about, streaming services are at an all-time high right now. I mean, right now, from streaming services across the board, both the big guys like YouTube, Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, even Apple TV, down to like the little guys, like, you know, Vudu, which is still around. I mean, you are seeing media consumption at levels that were unheard of even in the best of times before now. I mean, we are, whether willingly or not, we are now in what you could easily call the golden age of media consumption because of this, as part of a necessity just to get by, and because, I mean, what else are you going to do? So it's kind of cool, but it opens up a lot of doors.
Yeah, like it's actually a really good term, the golden age of media consumption. Yeah, I think now you're seeing people like us putting out more content than ever.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be really good for the small-time content creators, like us, because, you know, as much as you people may love us, we're still small-time, let's be honest. But this is going to be a really good jumping-off platform for people to kind of put content out there, and this is going to be, like, this could honestly be one of the best times to find new content and for new content to be found.
Yeah. Now, as a content creator, I'm actually kind of excited about the options that are available right now, just because if there was ever going to be a time where, as a content creator, you could make something, put it on the internet, and actually have a chance at people seeing it, now's that time. You know, there's less obstacles for your stuff being found, simply because you're not fighting for attention as hard against like all other life things that could get in the way. So if you are a content creator or somebody that wants to become a content creator, now is honestly the time to jump into it, just to see what you can do, because people are watching.
Exactly. Yeah, people are watching. Like, people are craving things to do.
Yeah.
People are craving new things to experience. So now is the time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you know, especially if you have a unique take on on things, or a different idea of how you think you can use online video or online media of any kind to interact with people. I mean, social interactions are just massively needed right now. So anything that you can do to try to reach out and interact with people, could just make them feel good, make them feel happy, make them feel noticed. Especially like reaching out to your friends and family and somebody that you haven't even talked to in forever. This is the best time to be reaching out and just interacting, period.
100%. Yeah, I can't count the number of people that have reached out, like, hey, just want to check out how, you know, check in on you, see how you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, David, our buddy David, that has been with us multiple times and done multiple top 10s with us. Which we should probably do that again soon. His birthday was the other day. I just drove over to his house and we just stood in the front yard and just talked for about an hour.
Nice.
How are you guys holding up? How's everything going?
And getting over into the realm of what you are the big nerd about here, sports. What's happening?
Yes. Everything's shut down. That's what's happening. So baseball was supposed to start the last week of March. Didn't happen. SportsCenter and ESPN were nice enough to remind us of that with, you know, every episode of SportsCenter that day. Like, so today should have been opening day. Well, thanks guys, appreciate that.
Baseball.
Yeah, I do miss baseball. I miss baseball a lot. But look, baseball's shut down. Basketball is shut down. NHL, hockey is shut down. There's talk that the NFL will still start on time. I'll believe it when I see it. But I mean, there's talk that, like, there's realistic talk that when sporting events open back up, they don't see live crowds for at least a year.
Yeah.
Something that me and Kyla were super excited about, My Chemical Romance announced their reunion this year and they were going to go on tour. That's probably going to get canceled. There's
Yep.
tours being canceled left and right. There's talk that tours won't actually get back up and running until the fall of next year. Wrestling, because it is a sport.
About to say
It
the
is a
sport,
sport.
the sport that's not really a sport.
It is social distance wrestling, but
You're lucky I can't punch you. Right now. But wrestling, look, WrestleMania was supposed to happen last weekend. First time ever, WrestleMania was held with nobody in attendance, and that is something that every year they try to set the attendance record. When it was here in Dallas, I met with several people. There was more than 100,000 people in Cowboy Stadium. This year, it was held in an empty. It was held in their performance center, basically where they train people. They have a ring set up. They have chairs set up so that while they're learning to wrestle, like in front of live crowds and with cameras and everything like that, like that's where they held WrestleMania. So like the biggest event for wrestling of the year was held with nobody in the building. And one of the things that people don't realize is that all the independent promotions will actually go to the city where WrestleMania is being held and put on some of their biggest shows of the year too. So like there's talk that may have like completely and totally crippled the industry. Kind of like what it's doing to the movie theater industry right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's something you wanted to talk about or not.
So, that's actually something that I think we need to be able to have a longer conversation about in a different live stream. Because, I mean, movie theaters and the business of entertainment overall, it has been dramatically affected. Movie theaters are on the verge of bankruptcy or questioning whether they can survive, in the exact same way that a lot of small businesses are having to question that, because movie theaters are in their very nature, they have to leverage so much of their capital to be able to get the movies that they are going to be playing, have to promise a certain amount of revenue to the studios to get the licensing rights to show those movies, and if they can't pay it back, I mean, you're not really expecting someone like Universal or Sony or even Disney to just forgive those debts, are you? I mean, that's not what they do.
And look, and that's another thing too, is Disney basically delayed everything until the fall.
Yeah.
Like Mulan's been delayed, I think, until like the end of summer, early fall. I almost said Captain Marvel. Black Widow is delayed until November, and that basically pushed back the entire Phase 4 lineup.
Yeah.
Jungle Cruise, which was supposed to come out with The Rock and Emily Blunt this year, they moved it till next summer.
Yep.
Like they moved a movie's release date an entire year, so that movie's literally just going to sit there for an entire year doing nothing.
Yep.
There's talk that New Mutants may be released on Disney Plus. Like, this is we're at such an unprecedented time for the entertainment industry that we don't know what's going to happen. Like, we as consumers are so in the dark about where the industry goes forward that like I don't want to be that guy, but like I don't necessarily know of anything that's affected the entertainment industry as big as this has in our life.
Yeah.
so you pointed out that drive-in theaters have been moving.
Yeah, Cody. Thank you, Kyla. Cody, one of our friends who murders me on a yearly basis at Fan Days, pointed out that actually drive-in theaters are coming back right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe that's something that we see kind of the return of the old school drive-in. But movie theaters in general, we're gonna have to see, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think there's going to be, even after recovery from all this has fully set in and things can start to go back to normal, I think there's going to be a very new sense of what normal is after all this. I don't think there's really any. After this long, with this much impact, and with how much longer this looks like it's going to go, I don't think that the old normal is going to have a shot at existing anymore. I think we're going to have to find a new normal that I don't know if any of us really know what that's going to look like. But it could actually be interesting, but it's definitely going to be a bit we'll say chaotic until we all figure it out. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I don't want to attribute it to September 11th, but like me and my dad were talking the other day. September 10th normal and September 12th normal of that year, that point in history, night and day.
Well, I mean, we got
like what's
with. I mean, we're not even gonna bother trying to pretend like we can explain the economic or social ramifications of all this.
no,
but
we can't.
We can definitely say that just from our personal experiences, this certain aspects of daily life just can't go back to what they used to be after this. Like, things have changed too much for certain areas to just pretend like this didn't happen. So yeah, but that's I mean, we don't want to get bogged down in the what ifs or whatever, because we are trying to be, fun and happy.
We are.
But I mean,
But I
realistically,
think that there needs to be.
I think it's going to be good and healthy for everybody to start looking at what is the new normal going to be defined as, and what does that mean for just how we go about daily life. Because I think the sooner we figure that out, the quicker that new sense of normal can start to set in, which is going to be good for everybody.
Yeah, look, I agree 100%. And just because social distancing is going on doesn't mean that you can't still be social with people through other means of media or whatnot. I mean, me and Kyler are about to probably start 2 D&D campaigns this week with our friends over Discord and Roll20, and that's going to at least keep us somewhat entertained, and it's also going to give us the opportunity to still interact with our friends, whether it not necessarily be in the same room.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that actually does jump into the very quick topic of how are we staying sane or normal right now, like you and me.
Brad, you were never normal.
I said normal. I'm not expecting anybody to assume there's anything like actually normal about me. I think the fact that we do this says I'm pretty weird.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sitting right next to you on that one.
Well,
normally I would be, but
next to
this side. No, this side.
This
side. Where's your face? Where's your face? Up here. Caress.
Anyway.
No, look, yeah, like you've got to do something to stay sane, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know about you, man, but I've been a lot of Xbox Live, a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of like texting buddies like, hey, when do you want to play? And like 2 and 3 and 4 hour marathons.
Yep.
Like setting up characters to run D&D campaigns, coordinating with people. When do you want to start? How long do you want this to be? We found campaigns that are like 70, 80 pages long that should probably take us a couple months. Like, that's kind of where we're at.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I know. Me, like I had already started playing The Witcher 3 before all this kicked off, and continuing on with that absolutely time suck of an amazing game. It is a great way to stay sane. I mean, it's fantastic, but good lord, you lose track of time real fast in it.
Yeah, what better way to stay sane than to, do the things that you would normally do outside in a video game.
I mean, heck, I've also I've had a chance to start marathoning some other shows and stuff. Sometimes while I'm doing other things, other times just taking a minute to actually focus on it. Like, I've gotten through the first 4 seasons of The Magicians, which I've been told for a few years now I need to check out, and now I'm almost halfway through the final season, and it is fantastic. So that's the thing.
Kyla just pointed out, and I completely agree with her. She's played too much damn Animal Crossing.
The Tanuki needs my bells, okay?
No. Tom Nook does not need your bells.
Yes, he does.
No, he does not.
That's why I have a 1.3 million bell loan.
Oh my.
What did I get myself into, Brad?
Yeah, no.
What did I get myself into?
But yeah, no, I think that's, yeah, you just find what keeps you happy, what keeps you sane during all this, and just do it.
As long as it's legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta put that disclaimer there just in case.
yeah, because, I mean, yeah.
Last thing we need is to be in some manifesto for something.
I mean, if we were in somebody's manifesto, would that be a step up or down for us?
Ooh, so what I've noticed throughout history is that manifestos are never really tied to good things.
Fair? Okay.
So step up, or no, wait, down.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we have already gone over time a bit, and
Oh, shocker.
yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. If you have actually made it this long, thank you so much for watching. We forgot to say it at the beginning, but if this is the first time you've had a chance to watch us, do not forget to like and subscribe, or if you're watching us over on Facebook, like and follow. And of course, if you've already been watching us, please share us with your friends. We'd love to be able to meet them and get some more people checking us out. So that'd be awesome.
Unless they're weird, then we don't want to meet them.
But yeah, otherwise, I think that is about all we can do for now. So Mike, you
Brad.
good? You good? We good? You good? We good? Huh?
I'm still here, Brad.
Fair enough.
I'm still here.
Well, in that case, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek saying, see ya.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah.